Hello and welcome to this short tutorial. And in this tutorial, I will just show you a very good tool to download Landsat satellite images. This tool is called as Libre, and it is online, and you can just simply go to Libre at developmentseat.org. And as you enter this URL, this is the screen that you get. Okay, and you can see here that there are three options on the top. One option is with reference to dates, one option is with reference to cloud cover, and one option is with reference to the solar angle or sun angle, or technically called as sun azimuth. So you can filter Landsat satellite images based on these criteria. So if I can just click on this, there is a slider, and if you just expand that slider to include images from 2018 to 2019 November, you immediately see, you can click on this one more time, and the same applies to cloud cover. By default it is 20%, but you can increase it or decrease it. Increasing it will mean that you are okay with images which are having more than 20% cloud cover, and so more images will show up. Likewise for solar angle. So for the time being, we are not going to touch this, and we are just interested in the date. So the moment you do this, you see Landsat path rows, and the numbers in the center are the number of images that are available for this scene. So if you can, and these images are actually, when you click on a particular image, and currently we are seeing US. So if you click on a particular image, the four scenes that are mentioned here are shown to you here. And this is from June 2018. This is from May 2018, April and March. And you can sort them by date. So latest to last, or last to latest. And you can sort them by cloud cover. So in this particular sort or filter, you will see that the image which has the least cloud cover, which is 0 or whatever else, so those images will come on the top, and the other images will go at the bottom. So let me just zoom out and, depressing my left mouse key, move to India, where we are located. I'm at the Indian Institute of Forest Management at Bhopal. So I'm just zooming in. This is in the state of Madhya Pradesh in central India. So I'm just zooming in, trying to find out how many imageries we have of Bhopal. So you may have to zoom in and out a little bit. And if you click, you will find that Bhopal, which is located here, is covered on this as well as on this. So on these images, the preview of which is available here, this is the Bhopal city is on the top right edge, towards the top right edge, and in this it is basically towards the top left edge. And as you can see, there is a very big lake in Bhopal. So as you can see that this is the path row that is more relevant, because it covers the city quite nicely. So if I can click on this, it will show me all the images. I can sort these out. Now, one important thing that I have noticed before I was making this video is that while Libre is super convenient and it doesn't require any registration to download these images, For some reason, images of 2019 are not showing up. And I really hope that the project continues and it keeps on adding images as the years progress. So as of now, the latest images that I am able to see for Bhopal are from June 2018. Of course, there is a bank of historical images going back to quite far behind. So this is like really relevant. The latest images, though, for some reason, maybe they might be added a little later on. But I do hope that this facility continues. So coming back, I just have to scout for images that are of, that have very little cloud cover. So for example, this image of 18th April seems to be pretty clean. It has 0% cloud cover. If you are looking for images between two dates, you might want to also look at the solar azimuth. Having similar solar azimuths or close to solar azimuths might help you compare images better. But well, anyway, so this is back again. So this is one of the images. So once you've selected an image, this is the city of Bhopal, and I'm happy with this image. If you look at the name of this image, you will find that it is 18/4/2018. Once you are happy with a particular image, let us say this one, you have two options of either downloading all the bands or you can select your band. If you want to download the entire thing, it will be, this is Landsat 8 OLI, so it's going to have a large number of bands. Alternatively, but then you need a login of Eros. So if you click here, it will lead you to a login site and you'll have to get a login, which you can easily do by signing up. Okay, create a new account. Doesn't require a lot from you. Alternatively, the other one that doesn't require any registration is download band. So just click on this here. And I want to mention a few important things. So these are all the bands that are available. Landsat 8 OLI sensor. So I am currently using Microsoft Edge on Windows 10, which seems to work the best with this tool. I have tried the same with Chrome and also Firefox. While they do download images, you have to download them one at a time. But in this particular case, say for example, if I wanted to download the blue band, the green band, the red band, and the infrared band, these 4 bands, all I have to do is to then just simply come here and click on download bands. If I'm interested in prefabricated colors, like I'm only interested to calculate an index or have only true color images, if I click on these buttons, it just selects those bands. So if I click on these, the natural color bands are, if I'm wanting to calculate an index, and if I click on this, those bands will get selected. So there's nothing very substantial that these icons at the bottom are doing. So I'm saying blue, green, red, and near infrared. These are the 4 bands that I have used. If I want to do pan sharpening, I can include the panchromatic band also, and so on and so forth. So I can choose any number of bands, then I can just come down here and say download bands. Now when I do that, Edge asks me a question. What do you want to do with, and this is the name of the file, it's a TIFF file, but the important one is B2. So it's saying, what do you want to do with band 2? This download is 58.8 MB. So with band 2, I'm saying save. So I just want to save it. Then it immediately changes the question to band 3, which is the next band on my list. And I'm saying save that. And then band 4, save again. So it's asking me about all the bands that I want to download. And I'm saying save all of them because I wanted to download only 4 bands. And this is the last one. When I save it, the downloading starts. It says 4 downloads in progress. And I can view my download. So when I do that, you can immediately see that 4 bands are downloading simultaneously. Once this process is over, I have already done this. So once you give it a little bit of time, depending upon how fast your internet connection is, when it is done, this is what you are going to see. So these bands will be downloaded as separate bands um, in a folder, and band 2, band 3, band 4, and band 5 will arrive in the folder which is set as your browser's download folder. So as you can see, these are, big downloads. You can then just simply open open source GIS like QGIS, and you can just simply dump these images right inside. So just bring them in one by one or all of them together. So just select them and get them in. So I have got 3 of them inside, 4, 3, and 2. And I'm getting the last one, that is band 5, the infrared band 5 inside. Takes a little time because these are like really huge data files. And this is Bhopal in this particular segment, the upper right edge. Okay. And this is just notifying me of the downloads going in the background. So now what I can do is I can, do a subset. So I will just come to raster and extraction, and I'm clipping raster by extent. I can also use a shapefile to cut my extent or subset this very huge image. And I can, this is my image. So I'm going to choose band 2. And this is from where I'm showing the extent. So I will click here and say select extent on the canvas. I'm just going to draw a rectangle. So those coordinates have been picked up. These are in UTM meters by default, WGS 84. And that's just about it. So all I need to do now is to give this a file name. I can save it to a file, or I can save it to a temporary file and export it later. One should choose to save it to a file. And let us say, for example, OLI band 2 and save. And then we are just going to run this. So this algorithm is running and it's trying to extract a very small portion of that image as defined by, it's already done it. So if, and I can just simply come here, and the better thing to do is to just right click, rename, and copy, and come back here and make sure that this is like the correct one. So I think what I have done is, and I'm really not sure, so I'll have to go back again, remove the layer. Best to organize them in sequential order so that you never have a doubt. So band followed by band 3, followed by band 4, and then followed by band 5. So I'm going to go to raster, extraction, clip by extent. Okay. For the purpose of a clear demarcation, I'm just doing my infrared band, extraction, clip by extent, and then I'm just making sure that I'm doing band 2 first, and or I can start with band 5, and then I'm just showing the extent. So I'm just coming here and saying I'm interested in this area. Coordinates are picked up, and then I can just come here and use a file name, band 2 or band 5, sorry. If I can just go back and see which band I'm cutting. It is band 5. So I'm subsetting band 5, and that's just about it. So I'm just doing band 5, save to file, and OLI band 5. and save. So I can just run this. My band 5 is now being subsetted and the job has been done. So this is clipped, and if I just switch this off, this is the clipped version of that particular file. Now I need to just very quickly rename it. So I can just rename it and right click and copy and right click and rename. You can actually really name it to anything that you want, and I'm just simply saying clipped. So I'm maintaining the same name but just suffixing clipped on top of it, band 5. Now if I want to do this for the other bands and I want to make sure that the area is exactly the same, okay, so I'm going to go back to raster and extraction and clip raster by extent. The only difference here this time is I'm just picking up my band. Instead of 5, now I'm doing 4. And the clipping is now coming from use layer extent. And I'm going to use the clipped layer, which is this one, and the boundary of that layer to clip my next layer. And in this particular case, I'm going back again and naming them. Saving it to a file and naming it as OLI band 4 or whatever else, save and run. So it is making sure that, as you can see here, the same is being cut. And I can go back to parameters and I don't need to do this again. All I need to do is to choose band 3. This is already there. And I can come back here and just simply make this as band 3 because I am subsetting band 3 and run. And then I can go back to parameters, come here and choose my band 2, which is my blue band. Extent is already there. And I can just come here and say band 2 and run. So I have now 4 clipped versions. Of course, I ought to have renamed them every time. So this is band 4 as I can see because this is the name is being shown. So I can just simply rename it as right click and rename and paste, and instead of band 5 it is band 4 clipped. Our mouse over here reveals that this is band 3 because I saved it as band 3. Rename once again the original name, band 3 clipped, and then finally right click, rename, and this is band 2, clipped version of band 2. So these are the ones that I have just done. I actually now do not need any other images, so I can just remove them from my view. I can do them all together as well. And in fact, I don't even need my original image because I have already clipped. I have all my clipped images. Once again, it is best if we organize them in an order 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if we can just see the full extent, this is band 2, this is band 3, this is band 4, which is the red band, blue, green, red, and infrared band. Now, all I need to do is to bring them all into one file, so I can use the merge function of QGIS, and I can just simply mention that, and I have to make sure that these are in the correct order because they'll be named as band 1, band 2, band 3, band 4. So we have to ensure that these are in the correct order. You can actually move them quite easily, but do ensure that they are in the correct order. So blue, green, red, infrared. I'm going to select all of them and say OK. This is a critical point. I have to make sure that each individual file is placed in a separate band. So there's nothing else that I want to do with it except provide a name. And I can just simply say Bhopal OLI April 2018, and maybe blue, green, red, infrared, and save and run. So the job is done. I have this image. I can now get rid of the pieces and right click properties, and I can now work with multicolor. So I can have 4, 3, 2, stretch it and apply. Let me bring this a little bit inside. So I'm just doing a min-max stretch with standard deviation and apply. So I have got a false color composite of the area. So this is how you can actually use Libre to get hold of satellite images very easily of any area that is of interest to you. In the next episode, I will also try to cover some other ways by means of which you can actually download satellite data and have more recent images included. Thank you.